Welcome to another video. So it's the start of the 2025 football season, and I've just finished drafting my 2025 fantasy football team, and we're going to take a look together. Starting out, I'm going to go ahead with this new league that I just joined. So Yahoo Fantasy has actually come up with a guillotine league this year. What that essentially means is that the lowest overall score at the end of the week is getting dropped, is getting eliminated. So my goal is not to be at the bottom of the standing when it comes to points. It's not individual matchups. Obviously, you want to get the best record overall from week to week. But on top of that, if you get eliminated, your players then go on the waiver wire and they become available to be picked up by another team. So that adds another complexity and another element to things that should be interesting. So with that being said, let's jump right into my team. So before we do any of that, I first want to go through the report card. So Yahoo Fantasy, and by the way, this is not sponsored. This is just the one that I use, that I'm familiar with. I've used it for, I think, 3 years now. I really enjoyed the platform. It's pretty straightforward, easy to use. I know ESPN has one, NFL actually has one, NFL Fantasy, and a bunch of other ones, as well as some custom ones that other people make with their friends. This one is a completely public league that I joined. So just want to put that out there. But without any more distractions, let's take a look at this team. So this team is called First Down Vince. I know, great name, random. Completely random. I might change it. I might not. That's the name I was given. And Yahoo actually gives me an A- for drafting this team, behind only one other team who's gotten an A+. It also mentions that my best player that I've drafted, and this takes into account the position that you drafted them in, is Travis Hunter, and that my worst one is Jordan Love. Now, do I disagree or agree with this? I'm a little bit in between. Jordan Love, listen, he had a really good year in 2023. Yes, he had a down year in 2024. I think he's still consistent enough. The team and offense around him is still consistent enough where he should be producing fairly well. I don't expect the Green Bay Packers to be an unbelievable team, but I don't expect them to be a bad team either. So I'm just expecting consistency out of Jordan Love. Whether or not I'll keep him or change him for other players, we'll find out. There's a lot of good quarterbacks still left that I could pick up. One being Matthew Stafford, and he's been dealing with injuries as we're starting the season, but he's a proven quarterback that I could easily pick up if I wanted to, as well as other ones like Jared Goff. There's even JJ McCarthy, I think, still available. Bo Nix as well. So there's a bunch of other quarterbacks, Drake May as well. So a ton of other options there. So would I say Jordan Love is my worst pick? No. Could he be switched out of my team? Yes, very possibly. Personally, I think my best pick was Blake Corum. To be quite honest, I think Blake Corum hasn't been very much utilized with the Rams so far in his career. This is being his 3rd year. So, and he'll be competing for the backup spot. But Sean McVay has voiced the fact that he wants to use multiple running backs this year and realizes that it's not smart to play Kyren Williams on 80% of snaps this year, as they have been the last couple seasons. If they want to be successful in the playoffs, they're going to need Kyren Williams to be well rested. So they're going to need to rely on their second and third back to have a very good season. So I expect Blake Corum to have a lot of touches. Yes, I am taking a big swing on him, but I think this team is very solid. As you see at the running back position, we have Saquon Barkley, we have Jonathan Taylor as well in there. If Blake Corum can do just enough when Saquon or Jonathan Taylor are on buys, that'll be wonderful. Apart from that, we've got Brock Bowers as tight end, which I think is great. And then I also took a couple rookies, or especially a rookie at the tight end position with Colston Loveland. And I'm really interested to see how well he does. I like him as a player. I'm not fond of the Chicago Bears themselves. So it's going to be interesting. I know they have a few new coaches there, and their offensive scheme should be better. So we'll try to see if they can get Loveland in some good scenarios. Let's take a look at the other player that was ranked just above me in their draft, and that was Blitzmaster Anthony here. He's got a pretty solid team overall, I will say. They got off to a pretty solid start as of Friday or Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday. I think CD Lamb could have played a lot better. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be interesting. Alvin Kamara as well is going to be interesting to watch. Jalen Waddle as well. I think it's all dependent on if Tua can stay healthy. Last year, I was very upset with this. I actually drafted Tyreek Hill, I think, with the 3rd pick in the draft. And he did nothing for me all season. It was absolute disaster. I could not rely on this man at all. I think I ended up keeping him the entire season, but you don't understand how much I wanted to put this guy on a waiver. And the only thing that stopped me was, like, as soon as I put him there on the waiver, he's going to go off for like 30 points. And I'm going to be like, why did I do that? It was just a bad enough position where it was like, I held him because I didn't want to risk him going on the waiver and someone else picking him up. But he was so bad all season. So bad. So, I don't have any faith in the Miami Dolphins. They have a really good team, but I think they're just like one injury away from being a bottom 5 team. Is just my... So, I stayed away from there. Apart from that, he has a couple of rookies with Hampton there. He's also got Tyler Warren, who was actually like the first tight end drafted this year, just behind Colston. So it'll be interesting to see overall how it goes. I do like the team that he has. I'm a little surprised it got an A+, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't think it would be getting drafted that high. So Yahoo Fantasy's got us at a record of 11-4 this year. And as I said, this is a guillotine league, so I do have the opportunity to be able to pick up really good players on the waiver based off who is projected to get the lowest points. Now, if we take a look at the matchups thus far, so far the lowest projected points for this week is a 93 points. We're currently on pace to get 110. So we are quite high from there. We're about 17 points difference. But, you know, anything could happen. You could have a player that doubles what their expectations were for performing in week 1. Like, you could have some players that absolutely collapse on what their projections was. I've had that happen in the past consistently, where a player is expected to score 20 points for you and scores 5 points. He gets like 2 touches. So you never know. All right, moving on. We've got team number 2. Now, team number 2 is called Coach Mode Vince, and this one is a standard team. So what that essentially means is that you only care about week-to-week matchups. Both leagues, by the way, don't have any defensive players. They just have a defense that they're picking, and that's what you get scored on. So there's not individual defensive players that you can get more points from, which is a shame, but it's not the end of the world either. Just based off of how the league is formatted, it's fine. So this report card was a little bit worse. As for what Yahoo declares my best pick for this team was Baker Mayfield. My worst pick was Dak Prescott. I do agree that Dak was my worst pick. I'll be honest, this one I kind of passed it over to a friend to make a pick for me, just to randomize things and change things up. I'm not super upset about it because there are other good players that can be picked up, and Dak could be a decent value player there. But it doesn't destroy my team by any means. So if we take a look at how this team is built, we've got a lot of some of the similar players. Like, again, we got Travis Hunter, we've got Baker Mayfield, we've got the Los Angeles Rams on defense. I think both teams have Fairbairn as kicker. In my previous team, I got the first overall pick. In this team specifically, I got the 6th overall pick, in which I picked up Justin Jefferson. Is there a risk involved there? He's had some injuries in the past. He has an unproven quarterback with him in J.J. McCarthy. So there are some nuances there of unpredictability. But I think overall you need to take the risk with Justin Jefferson. Similar to kind of what I said with Tyreek, there's definitely going to be weeks with him that he won't be there. And there's going to be weeks where he explodes. So my goal is just to have a good amount of steady production around him so that I don't get burned by his lack of production, nor do I rely on his outburst of production. I'll kind of get what I get with him. So I think Zay Flowers from Baltimore emerged as one of Lamar Jackson's favorite targets last year. Travis Hunter is easily going to emerge as Lawrence's favorite target, similar to Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. Ashton Jeanty is looked at to be the offensive pillar for the new look Los Angeles Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders, apologies. Alvin Kamara, he's just steady. Like, yes, similar to, he can be kind of streaky at times, but I think more often than not, he produces well. Then you've got George Kittle. Again, he's just a stud. He's super clutch. Can rely on him. Consistent top 10 best tight ends in the league for the last decade. Aaron Jones Sr. had a resurgence with the Vikings last year, hoping for a similar. Tyler Warren, he's a solid backup tight end if ever George Kittle isn't producing the way I'd like him to. Josh Downs is kind of a... And Tootin and then Rashid and Shaheed are also just all three players that you're kind of going to have to wait and see with them. They might end up on the waiver. I'll have to see who outperforms in week 1. See if they're emerging as or climbing up the ranks in their depth chart. The thing with football is that every week there's going to be a kind of a diamond in the rough that emerges, that like only players that are paying attention to their teams really know about them. So like personally, for example, I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan, which is why I have Blake Corum. I have a little bit more insight about how the dynamic there works. And similar to a couple years back with Puka Nacua, I picked him up week 1. Like, I watched all of preseason and I heard all of the team rave about how good this player was going to be. And I was like, okay, sure, it's preseason. Coaches are high on players all the time. It's nothing really new. So I was like, let me just see how he does in like week 1. I'll like keep in the back of my mind that like it's a player I need to watch out for. Week 1, I think he scores 30 points, has 100 yards receiving, and like 15 targets. I was sold. From there, I was like, you're on my team. I'm keeping you. And that was his historic rookie season where I think he tied, if not surpassed, most receiving yards or close to most targets by a rookie receiver in NFL history. So some of those things you have to pay attention to. It happens every year. There's always players that kind of go unexpected that people just don't know about. And those are the players you have to watch out for. That's what makes it so exciting in fantasy to pay attention to. And yeah, we'll see how the season goes. For this one, I only got a B+ on my report card. There was 2 other players that got higher ranking than me in terms of their overall projections. The record I was given for this team is 10-5. So not completely off. The other one was 11-4. This one is 10-5. So very similar in terms of teams drafting. I'll keep an eye on it. And we'll try to see if we can win it all. Ultimately, that's the goal. So if you really like this type of video, just let me know down in the comments. And I'll keep making more videos like this. I can make an update later on in the season and kind of see where we're at, the players I've added and dropped throughout the season, and my kind of strategy moving forward. But with that being said, I'll catch all of you in the next one. Peace. Can we do it?